Looks like the show is finally showing more of its true colors. Where are the colors?
Coming live from the radio to your set of ears, the upbringing Spider-Mania Chronicles, Spider-Man Noir set photos.
Recently, the upcoming Spider-Man Noir series produced by Sony Pictures Television and Amazon MGM Studios has snapped photos of Spider-Man as a behind-the-scenes approach to show a sliver of how production is coming along. By the looks of it, the show seems like it's tethering itself pretty well with more of a faithful approach to make it as best of a Spider-Man Noir show as it can be. Coming from me, this looks hella cool. This makes me prioritize watching the show even more once it releases on streaming. The first noticeable wave of set photos of Spider-Man Noir displayed Nicolas Cage's live-action iteration of Peter Parker walking around in what looks like a private investigator clothes collection from Macy's, also in what I assume is a hot summer day for both on set and the setting of the show. Like what Tony Stark said, not a great plan. I think it proves to be a savoring tease as to what vibes we might be getting for the show, other than the time and the place of the show, and what they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. What might private investigator Peter Parker be peering off to? Is it the newspaper in his hand very prominent in his current adventure, or might it be a prop for his daily life in the 30s? Will the weather be crucial to how things might play out, or will it be a smooth setter? At first, for the first wave of set photos, I was getting the impression that we might go ahead without the traditional noir design, which I would find somewhat understanding for a few reasons. The first reason would be very common to witness when it comes to live-action comic book and or superhero adaptations: the wardrobes. Some set photos will often end up as premature when taking a sneak peek into what kind of adaptation we might be receiving. One that I remember getting ticks all over were the set photos for Captain Marvel, where we would see Brie Larson donning a suit that looks similar to the traditional Captain Marvel costume for the comics, but not quite. It was green themed rather than the recognizable red, blue, and gold. Without the context of the final product, it would be very suspectable to be negative talk of the town for not sticking to the source material. As we can all put together, we needn't worry that much. Remember the good old days when we had the X-Men wear common black spandex instead of their distinct comic book costumes for their movie counterparts? How about when they went all out with their comic book accuracy with Daredevil, but he looked like red licorice standing on top of a building? Or, how about the time where they went with something new, but makes sense with Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus? See where I'm getting at? The timing and the adaptations are key to making a butt-kicking costume. When I was looking at the first set photos, I glanced at the outfit of 1930s Peter Parker. I thought the getup was spot on, given the setting and the occupation of this variation of Peter Parker. Another thought that hit me at the same time was, might they carefully ditch the comic book accurate costume of Spider-Man Noir? They've done it with Wolvie before, and look how it was embraced this entire time. You got the contentious hair and the leather jacket, and you got the beard. Using that method now wouldn't be as much of a shock, but it would definitely leave questions if not included in the final products. What was shocking for me, though, was not only that the creators not only pulled the trigger on the idea, but the costume looks really dang good for the live-action debut. It might have been an iffy decision to invest in, but with an execution like that, they can rest easy. I mean, look at that bad boy. You've got the whole shebang. Goggles, yes. Fedora, check. Trench coat, fully loaded. Mask, identifiable. I just hope it's not too stiff for Nick Cage so he can go wild in it. I mean, who wouldn't want to see that? Speaking of investments, that would be my third reason. I'm not sure how budgets are being built and greenlit nowadays in the streaming platform world, but I bet original streaming content is vastly different when bombing in profitable numbers. More risk-free, but still has consequences when poorly handled. Obviously, Disney would have the better hand in that matter, but at the end of the day, they're still prone to such results. The goal you would want, at least, is racking up great viewership numbers and getting people talking, just normal television, the cable one. If succeeded, then you can go however you want with creativity. It kind of sounds a tad fiendish, but that's for another conversation. You want people to watch Spider-Man Noir. You want to make it good enough for the people to check out and stay tuned to For a logical strategy, primarily this will be for the superhero comic book audience. Amazon Prime's got a good track record also. So yeah, you should definitely invest in the Noir costume. It'll succeed. You could still do it without the mask maybe, but you get an awesome opportunity right there. With this refined taste of costumism, I wonder how it will be presented in terms of adaptation. What would they cherry pick on? What would be original? Personally, I wouldn't know what I would wish to see other than the please let it be good. But it made me reminisce my exposure to Spider-Man Noir. It was getting closer to the mid-2010s and had Disney XD and the roster of available channels at the time. I wasn't really paying much attention for the channel schedule at the time, but it was almost like the Ultimate Spider-Man show knew when it wanted to show up. To put it simply, it swings in when it wants to swing in. There was a phase in the show where it donned the subtitles Web Warriors, mostly to have that rhyme with how Spidey is producing with help at the time or something. I don't know, I haven't seen it in a while, and it was the current running Spider-Man show that replaced the almighty predecessor, the Spectacular Spider-Man. I still miss you. One of the events that took place during the Web Warriors phase, which I do believe to be the subtitle of Season 3, was an imminent danger concerning multiple realities, of which there lies an active legacy of various Spider-Man beings. The multiple realities being tied together was sought and to be destroyed by the ultimate version of the Green Goblin, the one with the more monstrous mutated build, and the prime, but also ultimate, Peter Parker must stop Goblin and warn the many different Spider-Man he will encounter. Which, of course, sounds like the rough sketches for, wait for it, the Spider-Verse. Whoa. Whatever version of a Spider-Verse story you have, you're going to need a well put together crew of Spider people. For Ultimate Spider-Man, the Disney XD version, you got the OG Peter Parker, Spider-Man 2099 / Miguel O'Hara, 3D animation world, Spider-Ham Peter Parker, a cartoonish world, Spider-Man Miles Morales, the one that follows the death of Peter Parker storyline, Spider-Girl / Peter Parker, Spider-Girl / Petra Parker, a gender flip version. That one's very interesting. Spider-Knight, the time of the Renaissance, and of course, Spider-Man Noir, the black and white world. This is the gist that I got from the Spider-Man show when it comes to Spider-Man Noir's reality. In the 1930s, or at least looks the part, a black and white world, but looks often gloomy and shady. It looks like it rains more frequently than usual. It's kind of nasty. I'm not sure what his occupations are exactly, other than the copy and paste Spider-Man saving responsibility. No shade thrown. There's plenty already. But it came with a layer of broodiness. I just wish they redesigned his hair a bit because it doesn't feel right. Even if you gotta assure that that Spider-Man is a different version of Peter Parker. It would be years after until the scope of the cold-hearted hero would be broadened to more of a worldwide audience. Indeed, we are talking about the great phenomenon known as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And with the theatrical debut of the Spider-Verse concept, you're going to need a roster of Spider people that would not only help the story and the main character, but also give a great impression for those movie audiences out there. Who are they? Just play along. The main character, Miles Morales, the suave rock Spider-Gwen / Spider-Woman / Gwen Stacy. It's kind of complicated on that one. Life's friendly neighborhood punching bag, Peter B. Parker, the hyper-tech genius Penny Parker, the web swiner Peter Parker, aka Spider-Ham, and last but most certainly not least, most certainly not least, Spider-Man Noir, aka Private Investigator Peter Parker. Forget about the others for this topic. Guess who they casted as Peter Parker?
Jake Johnson.
No, the other one.
Chris Pine.
Also no. The one I haven't mentioned yet.
Andrew Garfield.
The role of Spider-Man Noir has been bestowed upon the man, the myth, the legend, Nicolas Cage. Now, let's hit a few critical points. The movie was a success critically, but maybe not financially, but it led to bigger cha-ching. You're welcome, Sony. The characters were heavily embraced, including Spider-Man Noir, to the point where you would hear people talk about the web slingers individually. Fast forward, for sure. Sony would be utilizing their massive amounts of IP they bought long ago, as well as taking in the nutty addiction of constantly making universe movies. For the plans of Spider-Man Noir, he is expected back for Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, and he is getting his own live-action spin-off, which got picked up by Amazon Prime and MGM Plus, with yours truly, Nicolas Cage, as Peter Parker. I bet it went down as a needless, thorough conversation when the casting folks just said, "Oh, what the heck, let's bring him in." Similar to J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, except they always have something different for him to present, like J. Joanna Jameson. Go look it up. Let's get back to the streaming platforms that the Spider-Man Noir show will premiere on, and if rumors are right, they might declare the show's name to Spider Noir, but due to my comfortness of saying Spider-Man Noir, let's stick to the more mouthful one, sorry simplified brethren. Originally, there was 2 shows that were set to premiere on MGM Plus that then make its way to Amazon Prime, Spider-Man Noir being one of them, and the other was slated to be Silk Spider Society. Unfortunately, Sony decided to bail on Amazon to look for another distributor to launch the project, but who knows what more of the reason why, but we'll save that for another essay. I'm thankful that with the intensity of massive dumpster fires of Sony's Spider-Man universe, vouching for the Venom movies personally, and the shining trophies of their obvious good ones, you know who you are, Amazon is still coming through for making this project happen, and it's coming along pretty dang well, as we can tell. Amazon has a good track record when it comes to the superhero genre. Exhibit A and Exhibit B, The Boys. Exhibit C, The Tick, which is my personal favorite. But flub me sideways if Spider-Man Noir is the first one to break that streak. I have faith in both Sony and Amazon in this one. There's something about this one that might knock it out of the park. I really can't put much of it into words other than I've already said so far. I'm excited but also careful for the series, but I wonder how much more it can be looked upon at those photos. Do you think it will get knocked around like a turtle slapper, or will it rejoice Spider-Man fans for something new and different? Does Nick Cage look right, or does it seem he's going to go uncaged? What do you look forward to in general with the series? Your adhesiveness is appreciated, and thank you for your time. Take care, God bless, and adios.